With all the big buzzing business news of the day, I'm Vikram Oza with this edition of Business at 9. Thanks for making the time for joining us tonight. And it seems like it's the billionaire versus the builder-in-chief now. The world's most watched entrepreneur seems to have flipped the switch on his once tariff-friendly stance, and he's pulling no punches. Elon Musk, who once hailed Trump for shaking up trade orthodoxy, he's now torching his tariff policy, calling it a tax on Americans, a job killer, and even slamming Peter Navarro, Trump's trade whisperer. And he calls him dumber than a sack of bricks. Imagine that. And his brother, Elon Musk's brother, Kimbal Musk, who has served on the board of both Tesla and SpaceX, he seems equally blunt. He's warning that Trump's strategy has structurally raised prices in the United States and forced Americans to pay more for less, and says that the risks are triggering a consumption spiral, which means less spending, fewer jobs, and then even less spending. All of this comes just as Trump is doubling down on his 60% blanket tariff threat. And as America's top exporters and tech titans sound the alarm, amidst all of this, Musk is calling for a zero tariff zone between the US and Europe, a free trade utopia that sounds really light years away from Trump's America First mantra. So Musk has also shared a video of Milton Friedman, who's described the pencil, which is a product like any other that's the combined result, he says, of free market economics and complex supply chains and not central planning. Observers have said that it was Musk's quiet way of saying tariffs don't work without actually saying it. So tonight, of course, let's just listen in to what has been tweeted and this video in particular. Just let's play that out first before we start our discussion.
There's not a single person in the world who could make this pencil. Remarkable statement? Not at all. The wood from which it's made, for all I know, comes from a tree that was cut down in the state of Washington. To cut down that tree, it took a saw. To make the saw, it took steel. To make the steel, it took iron ore. This black center, we call it lead, but it's really graphite, compressed graphite. I'm not sure where it comes from, but I think it comes from some mines in South America. This red top up here, the eraser, bit of rubber, probably comes from Malaya, where the rubber tree isn't even native. It was imported from South America by some businessmen with the help of the British government. This brass ferrule, I haven't the slightest idea where it came from, or the yellow paint, or the paint that made the black lines, or the glue that holds it together. Literally thousands of people cooperated to make this pencil. People who don't speak the same language, who practice different religions, who might hate one another if they ever met. When you go down to the store and buy this pencil, you are in effect trading a few minutes of your time for a few seconds of the time of all those thousands of people. What brought them together and induced them to cooperate to make this pencil? There was no commissar sending out orders from some central office. It was the magic of the price system, the impersonal operation of prices that brought them together and got them to cooperate to make this pencil so that you could have it for a trifling sum. That is why the operation of the free market is so essential, not only to promote productive efficiency, but even more, to foster harmony and peace among the peoples of the world.
That video, the global pencil video, very popular, now has been put out by Elon Musk. It underlines the importance of a free market, even as America turns more and more protectionist with the kind of tariff war that President Trump has unleashed. So tonight we ask, has Elon Musk officially turned on Donald Trump? And more importantly, what do his words really mean for India as well? The global trade reset that we're talking about, the future of supply chains. So let's bring in our guest, Rajkamal Rao, Managing Director of Rao Advisors and an op-ed columnist himself. He's joining us along with Raymond Vickery, the former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Trade Development. Gentlemen, welcome to Business at 9. And Mr. Rao, to you first. Is this the moment that we see Elon Musk breaking ranks with Donald Trump's on tariffs, or has he always had this more libertarian view of trade that's only now just bubbled to the surface? Because the words are quite strong.
Thank you, Vikram, for having me. Yeah, I think this is a big departure for him. He's concerned about his businesses. I mean, Tesla relies heavily on parts that are made in China and other places. In fact, Peter Navarro, the White House advisor, informal advisor to Trump, even joked that Musk doesn't really make any cars; he only assembles cars in the U.S. Whether that is true or not, it is definitely true that Trump is more libertarian. I think he is against tariffs, and I think to the point that you made earlier, um, as the economy is now, at least the markets are tanking, and Tesla cars are made, are more expensive electric vehicles. So certainly it is eating into the consumer's buying power, and he is concerned about that. As it is, the Tesla brand is being disparaged because of his work, with the government in Doge. So there are a lot of factors here, but you're
Yes.
right. He's definitely, breaking from Trump in this regard.
So this seems like a battle within. Mr. Vickery, how do you see it? Do you see the stage now set for a showdown between Trump and Elon Musk, who are seen as partners when someone as influential as Musk calls tariffs a structural tax on consumers? Do you see the shift in the political equation around protectionism in the US?
Well, thanks very much for having me and good evening. I think there is a split. The split has been there for some time. Unfortunately, so far, President Trump has sided with the Navarro wing, Navarro, of course, being the advisor, who thinks that we ought to have a fortress America economically. We don't need the rest of the world. And that we will have a golden age issued in by cutting off economic relations. And that is the fundamental part of the scenario which President Trump has bought. Now, on the other side, you have people who know that that's just a pipe dream, that that's not reality at all. We need to cooperate,
Yes.
as you showed there, to promote peace and prosperity throughout the world. And great democracies like India and the U.S. Need to do that. But that's not the MAGA base approach. You do have the people like Musk who are sort of late to that party, who really weren't MAGA originally, and who know better. And they know it through Starlink, they know it through Tesla,
Yes.
and so they finally spoken out.
It seems like the tariffs are now hitting them and hitting them hard. But one wonders, because such a stark move, and now we are hearing, Mr. Rao, from Kimbal Musk as well, and that warning from him seems stark. He sees tariffs meaning higher prices, less consumption, and fewer jobs. Do you think that's just theory, or do we already see signs of that playing out in the American economy?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We haven't actually seen it play out. I mean, we haven't seen any layoff announcements, for instance. Unemployment is still holding. I mean, last week the unemployment numbers were actually good. This was just a couple of days after Trump's tariffs came out. We have to wait and see. But what is happening, though, is a lot of things that were taken for granted. Like, for instance, when these things happen, people will flee to the dollar. They'll flee to the U.S. Treasury bonds. That is actually not happening. In fact, the 10-year Treasury yields are higher now, and the dollar is falling. So several things are happening, but you're right. I mean, at some point, if this continues, then there could be a potential impact on employment. I was talking to somebody yesterday who in the oil and gas industry, and essentially what they've done is since Monday, nothing is happening. All the managing directors of this firm are just sitting and just watching CNBC or whatever television because they don't know what to do. They don't know what to make of all the upheaval that's going on.
Yes, but at this point in time, and one wonders whether it's all about business and it's something about free markets that Elon Musk seems to have subscribed to for a very long time. One really wonders at this stage and how far Trump has come in pushing these tariffs through, Mr. Vickery, if he can afford to take on Elon Musk as an enemy, because seemingly he was one of his closest allies.
Well, President Trump has been diagnosed by my former governor, a neurologist, as a narcissistic maniac. And that means that he has such a belief in his own power and his own vision. He's described himself as a very stable genius, that he can keep going and going forward on his vision. And so the fact that Elon Musk has been close and was doing what he wanted him to do, what President Trump wanted him to do in terms of destroying federal agencies and firing people right and left, that was in accordance with what President Trump wanted. But this, of course, is a split. But I don't believe you're going to have Trump back off at all. His background is reality TV. This makes great reality TV. Everybody, as was just said, is glued to the television or the internet to see what will happen next.
Right.
And in his world, he thinks that that's a good thing. For the rest of the world, not so much.
Right.
Reality indicates this is the highest tax increase we've ever had in the United States. It's a tax on the consumer.
Yes, but indeed, when we talk about the power of MAGA, as far as the American politics is concerned, Mr. Rao, do you think that at this stage they were fearing Elon Musk and what this partnership between Trump and Musk was doing? Is this some sort of wedge that is being drawn between the two? Because it seems like tariffs was very central to what Mr. Trump was always trying to push through once he came to power. And this is something that he's doing a second time around. So why the rift now?
That's a very good question. I think, Vikram, there was probably a sense of misreading of what Trump actually would end up doing. I mean, even those of us who have been watching Trump for years, for me at least, I cannot speak for others, I never expected him to go and impose tariffs of such magnitude on such a global scale. I think most people were surprised when they saw, these tariffs and also the knee-jerk reaction when I think a couple of days ago he said, well, if China doesn't comply, I'm going to raise it to 104%. This was like, as was just said, this was almost maniacal, if there is a word. And I don't think Musk signed up for that. Now, to be sure, Musk put in a lot of money into the Trump campaign. And because of X, the Twitter that he runs, because of free speech and all that, he was able to make Trump a viable candidate. And so Trump definitely wants Musk. I believe more than Musk wants Trump. And I think that was the split that you saw yesterday.
Indeed, but even while we are watching this rift unfold before us and the politics seem to have shifted, Mr. Vickery, we are hearing Musk say that other countries are kissing an unmentionable part of Trump's anatomy to get trade deals. Is that just classic Musk bluster, you think? Or do you think there is a deeper truth about how the world is seeing Washington today?
Well, I think that there's a split among nations. I think the nations are like the CEOs here. They don't quite know what to make of it. And you have some like China who are saying no, not under any circumstance. You have others who are saying, well, we'll placate the President Trump and that'll get us through. We'll keep out of the line of fire. So I think that there's very much a split here. Now, I do think that what Musk had done, and others, such as the Secretary of Commerce in the United States, are now saying is, well, this is just a negotiating tactic that will get tariffs to zero, that Vietnam and others have already offered to drop their tariffs to zero if the U.S. will do the same. So in the Musk way of looking at it, that gets you really to what is a free trade position, zero for zero.
Yes.
The problem with that is that is not the view of Navarro and evidently not the view of Trump, that he thinks that the tariffs need to be put there in order to bring manufacturing to the U.S. And that can't happen if you go to zero. You still have international trade.
Yes.
So what guys like Navarro and now President Trump
Yes.
are touting is that we'll have Fortress America and everybody will build their factories here,
Correct.
which is a pipe.
So, Mr. Rao, I'm just saying that at this point in time where Elon Musk is taking this hard stance against tariffs, he's the one who's thrived on American subsidies and industrial policy. So one wonders if he can really slam these tariffs with credibility while he still stands to benefit from that protectionist ecosystem under Trump.
That's also a very good point. SpaceX is a great example. Of course, SpaceX is now indispensable to NASA. NASA has been trying to develop other private, rocket makers, but I think they're behind. So you're right. A lot of his business interests rely on government policies that are supportive of his business.
Yes.
But one thing, Vikram, though, is when it comes to electric vehicles, Trump, that was another area where the two of them split. Right? Remember in the campaign, Trump openly said that he's not in favor of EVs because EVs fire fewer union labor, in terms of labor members, and so Trump says that the decision should be left to the consumer, and we shouldn't spend any tax dollars in making people choose EVs over conventional gasoline or diesel cars. So there. It is amazing that Musk actually went along with Trump, although it was a direct hit to Tesla, right?
Yes.
But so maybe this is the second split and not the first.
And on the political side, very quickly, if I can ask you, Mr. Vickery, do you think that there is fear of Elon Musk's money power that the Republicans are now kind of becoming that much more aware about, and that's also what's causing this?
Well, I think that's an aspect of it, and you have to look at what happened in Wisconsin in the choosing of a Supreme Court justice there recently. In the past couple of weeks, Musk poured millions and millions into that on behalf of the conservative MAGA-backed candidate for that position, and he lost. So, politicians often have their finger up to see which way the wind is blowing, and they see that the millions, while it may have helped Trump very much, didn't carry the day there. So, yeah, I think that there are people, they always say, follow the money, and you will figure out where things are going, and that's very much a part of it. But what has happened recently is that the overwhelming support for Musk because of this money that he puts in has been diminished because it just didn't work last time around.
That's right. So now if you are going to look at a possible showdown, which is clearly underway already, going by what is being put out, and there are two very strong stances as far as tariffs are concerned. Mr. Rao, who wins at the end of the day in this kind of showdown between Trump and Elon Musk?
I think Musk has always said that Trump is the president, so I think he defers to him. So there were some rumors that Musk would actually leave Doge and go away. Immediately, the White House had to come back and say that's not going to happen. He's here for until July 1st of next year or whatever. So, I think Musk will lose this, meaning you know Musk is going to go away at some point, maybe sooner than we think.
Well, it's not a very every day that we see a billionaire CEO with ambitions on Mars firing a broadside at a former at an incumbent American president. But Elon Musk may have just launched this trade war of his own, this time not with China, but with the political orthodoxy around tariffs, and India, of course, navigating its own trade recalibration. But the world is shifting away from the free trade consensus, but also perhaps away from the old war cries of protectionism. And in this kind of chaos, as always, there are opportunities for those who are nimble enough to grab them. But a big thank you, Rajkamal Rao, Raymond Vickery, thank you for helping us bring clarity, candor, and sharp insight into what is a rapidly evolving news story. We will keep tracking this rift between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Thanks very much indeed for joining us on Business at 9. Meanwhile,